day and night. I toss and turn, I keep stressing my mind.
What is going on, guys? Victor here with yet another video, and in this video today I want to talk about another matchup on that UFC 249 card that's going to be a banger, and someone is most likely going to go to sleep. Now this matchup is Calvin Kattar versus Jeremy Stephens. Now if we all know these two individuals, is that they both like to bang, they both like to crack, and they both like to finish off their opponents pretty fast and pretty easily. With both these fighters, they're both coming off a losing fights. Jeremy Stephens has been on a 3-fight losing streak. Calvin Kattar just came off a loss against the beat Magno Sharipov. So this fight is definitely going to be one of the most fan-favorite loved fights on the whole entire card. With both of these guys, they like to utilize their boxing and they like to knock out their opponents. When it comes to overall power, I'd have to give Jeremy Stephens the upper advantage. When it comes to overall crisp boxing and movement, I'd have to give it to Kattar. When it comes to a more complete mixed martial artist, I would also have to give that to Jeremy Stephens. And I wouldn't have to give it to Kattar just because I haven't seen Kattar on the ground yet. I haven't seen him submit an opponent. I've only seen him knock out a couple of guys and went by decision on a number of occasions. When it comes to overall experience, I'd have to give it to Jeremy Stephens just because he's had more than 30-something fights overall in his career, maybe even more than that. And he's been with the UFC for such a long time as well. He's fought some of the very best in the featherweight division, even the former champion Max Holloway himself. Kattar just joined the company a couple years ago, and he's fighting the likes of Shane Burgos to beat Magno Sharipov. He's also fought Ricardo Lamas. He fought Renato Moicano as well. And his only 2 losses with the company have been against those two, Zabit Magno Sharipov and Renato Moicano, which are definitely 2 quality losses, obviously. Both 2 losses that both men have in common is basically against Zabit, who's basically one of the best featherweights in the world up to this point. Both guys actually had good performances against Zabit, but to be honest, Zabit's he's one of the most renowned mixed martial artists in the UFC roster, especially with how awkward he is. He's really unorthodox, and you don't know what he's going to do next. But I do believe that Jeremy and Calvin definitely had good performances against him. Definitely the best that anyone else had against such great formidable opponent such as Zabit. But when it comes to those 2 guys, I don't think the most interesting thing for me is that if the fight actually goes to the ground, I'd have to give that to Jeremy. I have seen Jeremy on the ground, and when I saw his fight against Josh Emmett and his ground and pound that was utilized during that fight that led up to his knockout win, his TKO win, that just kind of raised my eyebrows, because if you get hit with a couple of elbows by Jeremy Stephens, then parts of your face are definitely going to break. And if Calvin's put in that position, it's going to be bad. He was in that position at the very last couple of actually not last couple of seconds, but the very last minute of his fight against Zabit. Then he had a hard time actually getting off the ground while he was on his back. If Jeremy has him in that position, that Jeremy is definitely going to utilize his ground and pound and possibly get a win over Calvin just like that. But if Calvin can be able to utilize his movement, he's got really good boxing, and his foot movement is also very good as well. He would have to definitely move and cut angles just in order to get some good hits on Jeremy, and also definitely utilize the head movement as well, because Jeremy will definitely put your head on the swivel and knock you down just like dominoes. That's how much power Jeremy Stephens has. And it's definitely known that once Jeremy has been on a losing streak, he'll end up coming back and winning just 3 more fights. So since he's lost 3 in a row, this might be his the start of his next winning streak. Which might be another 3, 4, even 5 fights. Jeremy, he's been up and down throughout his career, but he does know how to come back from adversity and put on a great show. And it's definitely going to be interesting because Jeremy, if Calvin wants some of Jeremy's fights, then he will know that Jeremy's very susceptible to body shots, and that if you do crack Jeremy with a nice body shot, then he will go down. This happened to Jeremy against his fight against Jose Aldo, where he had a very good round against Jose, but he ended up getting cracked with a body shot in the second round, which really hurt him, and which ended up him losing the fight against Jose once Jose had him down, got him down on the ground and started utilizing some of his ground and pound. But before that body shot, Jeremy was doing really well in that fight. But when you have two fighters that like to stand and bang, there's always going to be an opening within that exchange. That opening is usually going to be in the body since both fighters are head hunting. And once you leave an opening for the body, if you get hit in the liver or hard enough in the midsection, you're definitely going to feel it and it's going to shut your body down. Once your body is shut down, it doesn't matter what you do. When you're on the ground, you're writhing in pain, the only thing you really want to do is the fight to stop, which usually causes people to lose whenever they get hit with a solid body punch. I've seen it in multiple fights before in the past, and if Calvin utilizes that, because both of those guys are going to want to stand and bang, and they're going to have several instances in which they share exchanges with one another, which leaves the body open for someone to take advantage of. And if Calvin can do that, he can win the fight via TKO if he wants to. But I do believe this fight's going to end in a KO, and I'm going to have to give it to Jeremy Stephens just because of his track record of losing a couple fights in a row and then coming back ferociously, winning a couple fights in a row, and becoming and getting back into the top 5 ranks of the featherweight division. Calvin's a really good fighter, but if he really learned from his fight against Zabit, then he's definitely going to make it interesting. But I think the power is just going to be too much. The experience is just going to be too much. And Jeremy's going to come into this fight hungrier than ever in order to win. Now, I could always be wrong, but it's just my prediction. And either way, the people, whoever's going to win the most is going to be the fans. Let's be honest. This fight's a barn burner. It's a fan favorite. A lot of people have definitely wanted to see this fight happen for quite some time. Jeremy's been out for a while. Calvin has been out for a while as well, but it's definitely going to be jam-packed, full of action, and full of intensity at the same time. And sorry about that, guys, but sorry. But all in all, this UFC 249 is going to be happening next week. I believe the early prelims, if there are early prelims, it's going to happen on ESPN+. Prelims are going to happen on ESPN2. And the pay-per-view is going to happen on ESPN+. It will be $64. If you have a membership with ESPN+, it might be lesser than that, but when I went on that myself, it says $64. So it's most likely going to be the price that stands. Most likely because the whole entire world is going to be watching, just because the whole sports world is currently shut down. Also, the fight will be going down in Jacksonville, Florida. They found a venue within the city that they're going to be hosting 3 fights within a 7-day span of one another. So that's basically all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoy the fights. I'll keep on pumping out videos before UFC 249 does go down. Appreciate you guys for watching. Stay safe. Stay blessed.